Once again, welcome to all. Today, we finished our first two modules, and now we are going to discuss the module plant nomenclature. So, it is very important while regarding the subject taxonomy. So, you have to study the basics of plant nomenclature. What is botanical nomenclature? Why we need botanical nomenclature? What are the significance and what is the importance of naming of plants? What are the rules and recommendations and everything you have to study in this module. Okay. So, what is nomenclature? You know the significance of name. So, we are giving names to animals, plants and other organisms. For what? Especially for easy recognition. Am I correct? Okay. And also easy for handling us and easy for identifying a subject, an object, easy for calling, easy for categorizing, ranking, for everything we need a name. So, assignment of scientific names to a plant is called plant nomenclature or botanical nomenclature. Okay. And it helps to identifying a plant, and it is maybe the names may be of different, it may be of common name, it may be of some large name or abstract names, scientific names variously, but here we are dealing with scientific names. That is a taxonomic function actually. Okay, scientific names is a taxonomic function. That's a process of naming a plant scientifically. That is known as botanical nomenclature. Clear? Okay. Why do we need a name? I already told it's very important to render communication easier, and it is a means of communication, and it is a serve as a key to literature published. For example, you know the scientific name of our common techi. What is that? Ixora coccinea. You studied it. So once you want to know the details of Ixora, how you will search it? You will just type Ixora coccinea. Then you will find out the habit, then the inflorescence type, then what is the condition of stamens, everything, whatever you want to know regarding the plant or the flower, just you need to type its name. So that is the significance. So it is a key to literature published wherever you can search it by using the name. Okay. Now, so many years back in 17th and 16th century, people called plants by different names. Now also. So there are traditionally in our regional wise, we are giving names to plants in different places. It is not very different. For example, in our area, in North Malabar region, Kasaragod, Kannur, Kozhikode, etc., we call Chempagam, the plant you know, Plumeria. But when you go to the southern part of Kerala, there they call it as Arali. But here Arali is what? Nerium. So there are some confusions regarding these names. So these are the names actually given by the local people in order to identify particular plant. That is a common name. Okay. So there are innumerable, we cannot count that much name for plants, and they have, these names are usually misleading. Clear? So that is one plant may have different names called by people from living in different locality, different states, different countries, etc. So they are usually local and not well recorded and creating confusion. So for a scientific study and for a research, for medical purpose, it is very much confusing. So we need an exactly a clear-cut name. Okay. Then, so widely distributed plants have large number of common names. A worldwide well-known plant, Viola tricolor. It's most grown in European countries and American gardens also, and it has more than 50 common names. Clear? Our mango, Mangifera indica, also known by 50 different names, English names. So there are in our area itself, likewise, plants are known by different names. One simple example is papaya. We call, many of them call it as papaya, common name. Some call it as kappaka. like many Kappalanga, like different names it has. So that is a common name usually used by the local people. So it is totally confusing to us. So what are the disadvantages? They are not at all universal. Okay, and it can be maybe applied in a single language. For in Pakistan, the lady's finger is not named for hibiscus esculent is bimdi, but in England it is lady's finger. Okay, then also they, and that is a very important, that's not universal. Clear? Then common names are do not provide information indicating generic and family relationship, means their taxonomic categories are not revealed by a common name. Clear? So one example is techi. Take in different plants like our pavata, one tree like plant, flower like techi. Then another type of colored techi is there. So they are all known by techi, but actually they are Ixora javanica, Ixora coccinea. So likewise pavetta. So they are of different, but in our area they are known by as techi. So that is confusing totally. So means their rank is not categorized there. Clear? Okay. Then if a plant is well known, it may have dozen or more common names. Chrysanthemum, our common Jamanti, that's called daisy, white daisy, ox white daisy, Shasta daisy, etc. Or white weed likewise. So maybe of different. So that is a confusing type, not universal, and it is known by different names. Then another disadvantage is two or more plants may have same common name. One example, Sida belongs to Kurundoti, that belongs to Malvaceae, clear? But another plant, namely Veronica, belongs to Compostaceae. It is also both having known as ironweed. In different countries named by ironweed. So it will be misleading one. Clear? Okay. So two different plants known by same name. This is not governed by any rule. For our scientific naming, there is an international code of botanical nomenclature. So all over the world is naming under this authority. Clear? But common name having not such recommended rules. That's one. And no consistency in usage. And different common name in different language. Okay, they tell nothing about rank and classification. They can't tell they belongs, there's a genera or species or something. Not they are. It is they cannot describe it. That is nothing about rank and classification. You will get from a common name. So these are the disadvantage of common names. Okay, then why scientific name? Now you understood. You know clearly what are the demerits of common name. So why we go for scientific name? Clear? So scientific name means same meaning for all who use them. Those living in America, those living in India, those living in somewhere Japan, China, everywhere. So common. It indicates taxonomic rank, the level in the category. That's also very, very important. Then it is very precise. It explains character details of the particular plant. Character details of the particular plant. It's also very, very important. Okay. Worldwide in application. That's another very important. Character details means what? Explains the character. Sometimes the name itself indicates the nature of the flower or nature of the plant, etc. Likewise, you can describe from the name itself. So that is the advantage of scientific name. Worldwide application. Clear? Okay. Now, then assignments of scientific name I already told is called nomenclature. This is based on some principles and rules, and these principles and rules are developed by International Botanical Congresses. International Botanical Congress held every 6 years. Clear? So last International Botanical Congress is it was on 2018. Okay. Now it was next one is 2024. So this is from the all over the world. Botanists meet together, especially taxonomists meet together, and the rules are modified and final publication is made. So this is the very important aspect, means an authority is actually governing the naming of plants, that is International Botanical Congress, and its main aim is to provide one correct name for each taxon. So each taxon will be known by only one correct name. Clear? Okay. Now, what language used? That's a problem. So all over the world there need a common language. So this botanist agreed to use Latin because language is very important here, and one time this is the widely used language in European country. That's why they preferred Latin. But now this is recently it was changed, and you can describe a plant in English also. Okay. So a lot of literature is available in Latin in that time about the plants, their uses, etc. That is why they promoted the use of Latin language. Clear? And it is very common, and most of the common names are used in ancient Greece and Rome, that is in Latin. That's why they preferred Latin. Clear? Okay. Now, what is the history of nomenclature? Actually, it was begun in 18th century. That time, polynomial system preferred. Means a plant or having a name that contains 2 or 3 or 4 parts, a long name, it is very difficult to remember. For example, several words in series. One simple example, Sida cordifolia, a common plant, Kurundoti. It is actually first named as Althea madarasapana, madarasapatna, subrotundo folio mulli. That's Latin language and it is very long. We can't remember it. Now it is very easy, Sida cordifolia. So that time actually in 18th century first system was polynomial system. Clear? Okay. Now this polynomial system is superseded by binomial system. Actually binomial system was first introduced by Caspar Bohin, but later its application it's applied practically by Carolus Linnaeus. So Carolus Linnaeus in his Species Plantarum clearly explained the binomial system. So polynomial system versus binomial system. Understood? So polynomial system, there are different phrases or words, so difficult to read and remember. So introduced the binomial system. So in the binomial system, two parts. First part is the generic part name and second one is the specific epithet. It's known as epithet. Allium cepa an example, allium being the generic name and cepa being the specific epithet. Okay. So early rules of nomenclature were put forward by Linnaeus in Critica Botanica. That book explains the early nomenclature rules. Critica Botanica. Clear? Okay. Now, first effort is by De Candolle by combining experts and botanists together and started the first level of botanical nomenclature by De Candolle, Alphonse De Candolle, and he's prepared the manuscript and circulated it, and that is Louis de la Nomenclature Botanique after first International Botanical Congress held in Paris, that is also known as Paris Code. So this is very important. The first attempt and first publication, first manuscript regarding the rules of botanical nomenclature, that was by the effort of Alphonse De Candolle at Paris International Botanical Congress. It's also known as Paris Code in 1867. Clear? Okay. Now, some of them are not satisfied with the Paris Code. So, American botanists usually avoided, means they are not agreed with the Paris Code. So, they also proposed another code, that is Rochester Code in 1892. Okay. This first Paris Code is also known as Q rule also. Q rule. Okay. So, some of them are against this, especially American botanists. Okay. So, that is because but they adopted because introduced the concept of type strict application of rule of priority. Rule of priority and type we will discuss it later detail. Okay. Now, Linnaeus, I already told, introduced the binomial system, and after that, first International Botanical Code of Nomenclature, that is Paris Code 1867 in Paris, and it is only no practical application that time. Okay. Then after that, many codes are there. Then most important one is Vienna Code, that is the third International Botanical Congress where actually binomial system is implemented and all the rules based on the Paris Code. Okay, and Linnaeus species plantarum also established, then followed by many codes after every 6 years. Clear? Okay. See, this is the present condition. The last code actually, so I already told every 6 year botanists meet and they will discuss together, and if they will sometimes add or sometimes delete and sometimes modify, and if the meeting is in July, then next January 1st onwards the new code will establish. That is the condition. Okay, so last code was at 2017 held at Shenzhen in China, and it is known as Shenzhen Code. Shenzhen Code. The meeting, International Botanical Congress, was at 2017, and the code actually published in 2018. So that's why Shenzhen Code 2018. Then before that, that is the 19th Botanical Congress. Then 18th International Botanical Congress, that is known as Melbourne Code. That's also very important. Up to the Melbourne Code, it is known as International, Botanical Nomenclature. Okay, Botanical Nomenclature. But later that it is changed into International Code of Nomenclature, ICN. First it was International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, ICBN. But from Melbourne Code onwards, it is what? International Code of Nomenclature for fungi, algae, fungi and plants. Likewise, it is modified. That is a very important decision change from Melbourne Code onwards. Melbourne Code onward, only Shenzhen Code. Clear? Okay. Then before that, it is Vienna Code 2006. Then before that, St. Louis Code, Tokyo Code and Berlin Code. So 1987 onwards, the last 6 years I have given here. Okay, so I hope you understood well what is meant by a code, what is the significance, what is meant by a code. It is very important for rules and recommendations for plant nomenclature. So botanists from all over the world meet together in every 6 years, and they modify, they restructure and they publish the code. So based on that, plant naming is going on. Clear? Okay. Now this is the ICBN, International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. Okay, it is very precise, simple system of nomenclature by botanists of all countries. Okay, main purpose is name and indicate taxonomic rank, species, genera, etc. And it provide stable method of naming. That's very important. Avoiding or rejecting use of names, everything included. There are provisions. You can reject some of the names. You can accept some of the names. You can change the names. Every such changes are there that can be available in the International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. Its rules and recommendations are specific. There are separated chapters, separate rules for naming, accepting names, rejecting names, publishing, effective and valid publication. Everything is there. So it is a very stable method of naming taxonomic groups. What is the importance is here is indicating taxonomic rank. Clear? Now, the first meeting of ICBN, I already told it is held in Paris at 1867 under the leadership of Alphonse de Candolle, and it is known as Paris Code, published in 1867. There are 3 main chapters. And very important one is rule of priority introduced first time. Those who are first published is considered as such. So date of publication and valid publication is very important. Other names are all will be deleted. Clear? Then requirement of valid publication, rejection and acceptance are established. Valid publication is very important. Those who are going to publish a new taxa should be in a scientific journal, that should be in a journal with ISSN or ISBN number, and that should be validly and effectively published. Clear? That should contain all details regarding the description of the plant, Latin diagnosis, then habitat, everything, type, everything should be mentioned. Then only it become an effective and valid publication. Clear? Okay. Now, taxonomic, that is the nomenclature, ICBN having mainly two important functions. One is naming of new taxa. So, a new taxa that is clearly previously unnamed and not described. So, you are going to name a new taxa. That is a very, very important function of ICBN. Okay, based on the rules and recommendations. Second one is determining the correct name for previously named taxa. Sometimes there are certain previously named taxa, but later one botanist find out that this name is not suitable for the plant. Its characters are not matching. So they want to replace it. Or sometimes two of them have to be merged into one. Or one from one genera transferred to other, or changes may like that. So in such all practices are done by ICBN. Clear? Okay. Now, so I already discussed about the code. First code is Paris code. Last present code is Shenzhen code 2018. First 1867. Now it is 2018. So what is actually the content of the code? Okay. So a code, botanical code, includes three divisions. First one is principles. Second one is rules and recommendation. Third one is provision for modification of the code. So before that there is a preamble also. Clear? So principles, rules and recommendations, and provisions for modification of the code. Okay. Code include appendices also. In the last pages itself, appendices including name of the hybrids, then nomina familiarum, algarum, fungorum, pteridophytorum, conservanda et regicienda, means the list of those should be conserved and those should be rejected, including algae, fungi, brio, etc. Latin language. Second B also likewise, bryophyta and Bryophytarum and Spermophytarum. It's a conserved species and those with rejected species. So, principles, rules and recommendations, provision of modification, appendices. These are the different appendices. Nomina, generica, conservanda, et regicienda. Same way, genera conserved and rejected. Same way, genera specified and rejected. Likewise, different Latin. Then principles forms the basis. How many? 76 main rules, and they are set as articles, and also associated recommendations. Clear? Okay. Then conserved names. What is conserved names? Do not satisfy principles of priority but sanctioned for use. Sometimes certain names are very commonly used. Difficult to change it. So that will be conserved as such. For example, I can tell you the Asteraceae family. So Compositae is very commonly used one. Okay. Graminae is commonly used one. But think Poaceae. Papilionaceae. Another name Fabaceae. So likewise some are there. Constantly they are using. So very difficult to avoid them. So that is conserved names. Clear? Okay. Now, so basic 6 principles are there. Botanical nomenclature is independent of zoological nomenclature. There are certain cases with a plant and an animal having same name sometimes. No problem, because they are botanically and zoologically, means they are independent. Zoological and botanical nomenclature is independent, no problem. Code applies equally to names of taxonomy group treated as plants, whether or not these groups are originally so treated. Okay. Now, application of name or taxonomy is determined by means of type. So, very important, based on a nomenclature type, the plant name is describing. Nomenclature type. So, we will discuss in detail typification in a chapter. Then, nomenclature of taxonomy group is based upon priority of publication, that I already told you. Once a plant is published in 1938, later in 1970s, the same name is published by another taxonomist. So, we have to check the date of publication. So which one is valid? Those published first is valid. That is priority of publication. Then each taxonomic group with a particular circumscription, rank and position should bear only one correct name. That is the legitimate name, correct name in accordance with the rule. Okay, so only one correct name for a plant or a taxon having circumscription, position and rank should bear only one correct name. Then scientific names and taxonomic group should be treated as in Latin language. I already told you, in Latin language. Rules of nomenclature retroactive unless expressly limited. Means in some cases, if the date of publication is not mentioned, then what we will do? How? It is treated as the first nomenclature type, that is 1867 or last code or something like that. You can treat it as that is retroactive if the date is not validly published or the date is not mentioned. Otherwise, if mentioned, the last one is the correct one. This is the principle of ICBN. Clear? Now, rules of nomenclature once more elaborated. It may be written in French, German and English. 6 principles, 75 rules, 57 recommendations. It is independent of zoological. Everything I told you, just once more an explanation. Then next let us pass on to the latest code. In your syllabus, you have to study the latest code, Shenzhen code. But I am going to discuss with you 2 latest codes. One is Melbourne code and another one is Shenzhen code. So, this is international, known as International Code of Nomenclature. I already told that is not International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. It is International Code of Nomenclature, ICN, for algae, fungi and plants. That is Shenzhen code, adopted by 19th International Botanical Congress held at Shenzhen, China. This is the screen, outdoor screen of the Shenzhen, the meeting held at Shenzhen. The symbol you can see there. This is the brochure. Then this is the book, the published book, International Code of Nomenclature for Algae, Fungi and Plants. Clear? ICN for Algae, Fungi and Plants. That is Shenzhen Code 2018. So it actually supersedes all other codes. Now what is the final code? Shenzhen code. It supersedes all other code. Last code was Melbourne code in 2012. So now no Melbourne code. Published 6 years back. It is written entirely in English. That's another important point. From this code onwards, you can write in English also. Melbourne code was translated to Chinese, French, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Portuguese, Spanish, everything. It is the Shenzhen code also available in several languages. It's very important. End result of discussions and decisions. What are the final decisions? Already what we discussed, the International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, that is there. So what are the modifications that only you have to study? The very important change is, actually it is published in June 2018. Algae, fungi and plants are there. It aims a stable method of naming taxonomic group that I already told you. All the organisms are covered in this code. The principles form the basis of nomenclature and detailed provisions are added. Recommendations are there, and also very important point is fossils. Fossil name, while you are how you will name it, each part having each name, that is more for taxa likewise. But here the last name should be given to only one name. So when you discuss a lepidodendron, you have lepidocarpon, lepidophyllum likewise. So that is very difficult to use. So you need only one name for a fossil. Then also appendices 1 to 8, and it is an integral part of the Shenzhen code. Okay. And this is cultivated plants also included here as separate appendices. Then this edition supersedes all previous editions. Then this is only very important. What are the new highlights? It is an open access database. Means from this code onwards, every taxon, whatever you are publishing, whatever the new names, that should be an open access. Means there are databases, botanical databases, When you type a plant, you will get the details, everything regarding the plant, locality, its name, its collection center, its type, everything you will get. So that is open access database. Clear? Then that is all names should be registered in online databases. All names should be registered in online databases. That is the very important change in Shensen code. And also rules for naming fungi, that is separated. After Shensen code onwards, fungal name nomenclature is done by International Mycological Congress. Clear? So fungal class naming is given as a separate chapter in Shensen code. So two important, one is the main change is the online databases, second change is the removal of fungal nomenclature into separate one. Okay. So this is the that's all about Shensen code. This is IBC 2011. What is IBC 2011? Melbourne code. Okay. That is the 18th International Botanical Congress Melbourne code. That is also very important. Some important points are there. That's why I am discussing this also here. Melbourne code is 2012. A very important change occurred here in Melbourne code. That is shift from International Botanical Code of Botanical Nomenclature to International Code of Nomenclature for Plants, Algae likewise. Okay. Then electronic publication permitted. Up to this, before this code only, you have to publish in printed form only, journal. But when you are publishing a new taxa, from this time onwards, you have to publish it in open access journal or in PDF format with ISBN or ISSN number. Journal you can publish it. That is electronic publication permitted here. And also Latin diagnosis is not required. Means before that, while you are publishing a new taxon, you have to describe it in Latin language. But now you can describe it in English. No need, not compulsory to describe it in Latin language. Then effective and valid publication is strictly followed, and it is very, very important. Then fossil name I already told, that is also different names abandoned and only one name strictly followed here. Then those which is published earlier, that is the correct one, you can choose it. Clear? So Melbourne code is important. That is why I am giving some of the points in Melbourne code. Changing of title of International Code of Botanical Nomenclature into International Code of Nomenclature. Then electronic publication permission and fossil naming and effective and valid publication strictly followed, etc. Okay. Now next we have to go back, go to the rules. So I am not going to the rules now. So what we finished today is what is nomenclature, why we need botanical nomenclature, what are the demerits of common names, what is International Botanical Congress, what is Paris Code, what are the rules and recommendations, what are the rules of International Botanical Code of Botanical Nomenclature ICBN, then latest codes, Shensen code and Melbourne code. Then you have to study these all together as an introductory part of plant nomenclature. Okay, thank you. I hope you enjoyed well. Thank you.